Welcome to our channel. We are so glad you found your way here. Let us help you fall asleep. Let's begin with the quiet collapse of WeWork, the failure of the shared office space dream. Take a slow, deep breath in and release it. Even the tallest towers eventually quiet down. Tonight, we gently explore the empty boardrooms and forgotten ambitions of the past. Your mind is calm, and we are ready to begin. The founding vision of WeWork was anchored in the belief that shared spaces could cultivate community and collaboration among professionals. It sought to create environments where individuals could thrive, blending work and social interaction. This ideology emerged in 2010 amidst a rising trend toward flexible working arrangements. The founders aimed to disrupt traditional office models, emphasizing a vibrant, innovative atmosphere. Initial success unfolded rapidly. A series of stylish workspaces were established, designed to appeal to a diverse clientele ranging from freelancers to established enterprises. These environments featured modern furnishings, vibrant decor, and amenities that fostered creativity and productivity. This approach attracted a multitude of tenants, keen to embrace a new way of working. Investment flooded in as the demand for shared office spaces grew. Valuations soared, propelled by a fervent belief in the future of work. The ideology resonated widely, promising a revolutionary shift in how businesses operated. This vision extended beyond mere physical spaces. It encapsulated a lifestyle, a sense of belonging within a bustling urban landscape. Over time, aspirations shifted toward rapid expansion, with new locations sprouting across major cities. The initial promise of community and collaboration became intertwined with ambitious growth targets and financial strategies, setting the stage for impending challenges. The foundation laid would soon face scrutiny and reevaluation. The rise of co-working spaces emerged from a confluence of market demand and cultural shifts. Increasingly, businesses sought flexible working arrangements, driven by a desire for collaboration and community. This region witnessed the proliferation of startups and entrepreneurs, each yearning for a vibrant workplace that fostered creativity. Traditional office environments began to feel obsolete, unable to accommodate the growing need for adaptability and networking. In response, shared office spaces flourished, offering amenities that appealed to a diverse clientele. They provided not only desk space, but also an atmosphere rich with opportunities for connection. These environments became incubators for innovation, where freelancers, remote workers, and small teams converged. The aesthetic of open layouts and communal areas attracted a new generation of workers, eager to escape the confines of isolation. Investment poured into these ventures, fueled by the optimism that co-working would redefine the modern workplace. The allure of flexibility and collaboration seemed boundless, promising a bright future for the burgeoning industry. As these new spaces took root, larger corporations began to adopt similar strategies, recognizing the shifting landscape of employee expectations. The cultural shift toward a more fluid work-life balance solidified the shared office concept as a legitimate alternative to conventional arrangements, ushering in an era that many believed would endure indefinitely. Charismatic leadership emerged as a defining element in the rise of this ambitious venture. Adam Neumann, the co-founder, captivated investors and employees alike with his vision of a new way of working. His infectious enthusiasm and ability to articulate a compelling narrative attracted significant attention and funding. This magnetic presence was instrumental in fostering a culture that celebrated innovation and disruption. Neumann's distinct approach to leadership encouraged a sense of community among employees, transforming the workspace into a hub of collaboration. The allure of shared office spaces was amplified under his guidance, as he painted a picture of a future where work transcended traditional boundaries. Employees felt empowered and engaged, contributing to a rapidly expanding network of locations. Confidence in Neumann's vision was palpable, leading to aggressive growth strategies. Expansion occurred at an unprecedented pace, with new locations opening across the globe. The allure of flexibility and modern workspaces resonated with a generation seeking alternatives to traditional employment structures. Yet, beneath the vibrant surface, underlying issues began to surface. As the company expanded, challenges emerged in maintaining quality and consistency. The real estate market's volatility further complicated matters, exposing vulnerabilities within the ambitious framework. This charismatic leadership, once a driving force, would soon become a critical focal point in the narrative of decline. Initial financial backing was instrumental in propelling this endeavor into the limelight. A wave of enthusiasm swept through investors, drawn in by the vision of a shared office space revolution. They provided substantial capital, envisioning an innovative approach to work and collaboration. This influx positioned the company as a frontrunner in the emerging market, allowing it to expand rapidly into various urban centers. Confidence surged as funding rounds accumulated, with venture capitalists eager to fuel its growth. The narrative was built on a promise of unending potential, and early investors were reassured by projections of significant returns. High valuations became routine, as financial backers overlooked emerging signs of instability. They believed in the allure of co-working communities, envisioning a future where traditional office spaces would fade into irrelevance. As the expansion continued, the pressure to sustain this trajectory intensified. The emphasis on growth over profitability became a hallmark of the approach, leading to aggressive leasing strategies and expansive builds. This environment fostered an unsustainable financial model, increasingly reliant on the next round of investment to cover operational costs. Amid this backdrop, the initial optimism began to wane. As expectations clashed with financial realities, disillusionment took root within the investor community, marking the beginning of a significant turning point. The essence of the business model relied on a subscription-like framework, offering flexible office spaces to a diverse range of clients. This approach aimed to attract freelancers, startups, and large enterprises alike, promising an adaptable workspace solution. Membership fees formed the primary revenue stream, supplemented by ancillary offerings such as meeting room rentals and event spaces. Within this expansive vision, the allure of shared amenities and networking opportunities created a vibrant atmosphere. However, the cost structure became increasingly burdensome. Leasing large amounts of real estate in prime locations without a corresponding, steady influx of members strained financial capabilities. While the idea of cultivating a collaborative community captivated many, operational inefficiencies began to emerge. High overhead costs associated with maintaining stylish interiors and providing concierge services weighed heavily on profit margins. Each space, designed to foster creativity, amplified the financial pressure when occupancy rates faltered. Investor confidence waned as the realization set in that the demand for such flexible arrangements may not sustain the aggressive growth forecasted. Discrepancies between projected revenues and actual performance painted a troubling picture. The initial excitement surrounding this ambitious endeavor gradually gave way to a sober reassessment of its viability, leaving once enthusiastic stakeholders grappling with the reality of a faltering enterprise. Rapid expansion marked the company's strategy as it sought to establish a formidable global presence. Countless spaces were acquired, with each new location meticulously curated to embody the modern workplace. These venues, often adorned with vibrant furnishings and communal areas, became synonymous with the shared office concept. The allure of flexible arrangements drew in a diverse clientele, from freelancers to large corporations, eager to embrace this new model of work. As the number of locations grew, so too did the ambition. This region witnessed a surge in marketing efforts, projecting an image of innovation and collaboration. Urban centers became dotted with branded spaces, all intended to cultivate a sense of community among tenants. Yet this rapid proliferation often came at a significant cost, both financially and operationally. Underneath the surface, the pressure to maintain occupancy rates intensified. Each new acquisition necessitated a careful alignment of resources, with management teams stretched thin. The promise of a thriving network began to fray as the company grappled with maintaining consistency across varied markets. Branding constructed a narrative of community and collaboration, positioning the company as a revolutionary force within the workspace sector. The identity crafted was not merely about leasing office space. It was a lifestyle brand, one that purported to transcend traditional business boundaries. This region witnessed an embrace of modernity, where the ideals of creativity and innovation were woven deeply into the marketing strategies. Ambitious campaigns, infused with a sense of visionary leadership, painted a picture of the future. The allure of the cult of We captivated a diverse clientele, from freelancers to large enterprises seeking an alternative to conventional office environments. Promises of networking opportunities and a vibrant culture attracted many to this new paradigm. A focus on aesthetic design and social engagement created a perception of exclusivity, further reinforcing the brand's appeal. Yet, the underlying reality presented challenges. Rapid expansion led to inconsistencies in the customer experience, diluting the brand's original promise. Compounding issues arose from economic pressures and shifts in market demand. Trust began to erode as operational difficulties surfaced. Discrepancies between marketed ideals and actual experiences created disillusionment. This disconnect marked a turning point as the once unified vision of community began to unravel. The brand's narrative struggled to sustain its initial vibrancy amidst the weight of emerging realities. This social experiment, born from an idealistic vision, aimed to cultivate a sense of community among its members. Shared spaces were conceptualized not merely as physical environments, but as hubs where collaboration and creativity could flourish. The open layouts and communal areas invited interaction, fostering relationships that extended beyond mere business transactions. Events and workshops were hosted, designed to engage members and create shared experiences. These initiatives drew individuals from diverse backgrounds, united under a common goal of innovation. The concept was appealing, alluring entrepreneurs and freelancers seeking connection in an increasingly fragmented professional landscape. Yet over time, the promise of community began to wane. The initial enthusiasm faded as the realities of competition and an oversaturated market emerged. Members sought privacy and quiet spaces to focus, often overwhelmed by the very communal atmosphere that had originally attracted them. The vibrant buzz of collaboration turned into a cacophony of distractions, diminishing the allure of the shared environment. As financial pressures mounted, the once celebrated ethos of community became overshadowed by concerns about profitability and sustainability. The delicate balance between fostering relationships and maintaining a viable business model became increasingly difficult to achieve. What began as a hopeful vision devolved into a struggle for survival, reflecting the harsh truths of an evolving market. The shift in co-working trends emerged largely due to the influence of the tech industry. This sector, characterized by rapid innovation and fluid work environments, reshaped the expectations surrounding office spaces. The promise of flexibility attracted burgeoning startups and established enterprises alike, fostering a culture that valued collaboration over traditional hierarchies. Open spaces became synonymous with creativity, encouraging spontaneous interactions and idea generation. As the tech landscape evolved, so did the demands placed on shared office environments. companies began to prioritize amenities that catered to a workforce accustomed to a higher standard of workplace experience. Internet connectivity, ergonomic furniture, and wellness options became essential elements, transforming the notion of a workplace into a curated experience. This transition, while initially advantageous, gradually revealed vulnerabilities. With the proliferation of co-working spaces, oversaturation occurred in urban centers, leading to increased competition and declining profit margins. Many operators struggled to maintain the quality of service promised to their clientele, which the economic downturn further compounded these challenges, as many tech startups faced financial uncertainties, prompting a retreat from expansive office leases. The once promising model of shared workspaces became increasingly untenable, illustrating the delicate balance between innovation and sustainability within an ever-evolving market. Other players in the shared office market began to emerge, each vying for dominance in a landscape that was becoming overcrowded and competitive. Established corporations, startups, and even traditional real estate firms began to explore this burgeoning sector, introducing their own variations of shared working environments. This influx intensified the scrutiny of the original model, challenging it to adapt or risk obsolescence. Companies began to differentiate themselves through unique offerings, catering to specific demographics or industries. Niche markets surfaced, targeting freelancers, tech startups, and established corporations seeking flexibility. Amenities expanded beyond mere desk space to include wellness programs, community events, and advanced technology features. The allure of tailored solutions drew in a diverse clientele, complicating the original premise of shared offices. With the rise of co-working alternatives, pricing strategies became increasingly aggressive. Discounts and incentives were deployed to attract new tenants, further eroding profit margins for many players. The emphasis on flexibility and short-term leases shifted the focus away from long-term commitments, putting additional pressure on financial sustainability. Amidst these developments, the foundational vision of collaborative workspaces began to fracture. The original ideal of fostering community and cooperation gave way to a fierce competitive spirit, resulting in a chaotic environment where survival increasingly depended on adaptability and innovation in a market that seemed to change by the day. The reliance on real estate became a pivotal factor in shaping its trajectory. A vast portfolio of leased properties spread across cities was intended to provide flexibility and accessibility. This expansive approach initially appeared to promise a vibrant network of communal spaces. Each location, equipped with modern amenities, sought to attract a diverse clientele eager for collaborative work environments. Over time, the financial obligations associated with acquiring and maintaining these properties led to unsustainable expenditures. Long-term leases required significant capital, creating a burden that weighed heavily on the operating budget. The cost of real estate, combined with fluctuating market conditions, rendered the model increasingly fragile. Each new location, once viewed as an opportunity, became a potential liability. As competition intensified, the need to fill these spaces became critical. Filling empty desks became a race against time, often leading to price cuts and promotional offers that eroded profit margins. This pressure intensified as economic conditions shifted, leading to vacancies that further strained financial resources. Despite attempts to pivot and innovate, the core dependence on real estate remained a vulnerability. It became evident that the original vision, while ambitious, was undermined by the very structure designed to support it. The weight of the physical spaces contrasted sharply with the evolving needs of the workforce, marking a turning point in its narrative. The financial framework of this fading company reveals an intricate web of unit economics that investment in lavish amenities and design elements, seen as essential to attract clientele, further compounded the financial challenges. Each location required significant upfront capital, contributing to a mounting debt that became increasingly difficult to manage. An illusion of growth masked the precarious nature of this model, as expansion efforts outpaced the realities of market demand. As competition intensified, pricing strategies struggled to adapt. Discounts and incentives, initially intended to draw customers in, eroded margins and highlighted the fragility of the financial structure. The departure of key clients left vacant desks, amplifying the pressure on already declining revenues. Investor confidence waned, leading to a reevaluation of the once promising vision of shared office spaces. The narrative shifted from bold growth projections to urgent restructuring efforts. This backdrop of financial misalignment painted a somber picture of a company that had ventured too far into uncharted territory, only to confront the consequences of its ambition. Flexibility and inclusivity emerged as the cornerstone of its unique selling proposition. The promise of adaptable workspaces attracted a diverse clientele, from freelancers to large enterprises seeking dynamic leasing options. This approach was revolutionary, offering an alternative to traditional office spaces bound by rigid contracts and lengthy commitments. Despite initial enthusiasm, the execution revealed inherent vulnerabilities. While the allure of short-term leases and vibrant communal environments resonated with many, the operational complexities grew with the expanding footprint. The challenge of maintaining a consistent brand experience across various locations became evident. Each site, while designed to promote collaboration and creativity, often felt disjointed from the others, leading to customer dissatisfaction. As the narrative unfolded, the financial strain intensified. The model that once seemed innovative began to falter under the weight of its own ambitions. High overhead costs for prime locations clashed with the fluctuating demand for flexible spaces. It became increasingly difficult to reconcile the promise of inclusivity with the reality of profitability. In the wake of these challenges, the very essence of its offering, community and collaboration, was called into question. Diminishing trust among investors and clients marked a crucial turning point, revealing that even the most appealing concepts can unravel in the face of mismanagement and market fluctuations. The ideal of flexibility, once a beacon of hope, dimmed as operational realities took precedence. Urbanization reshaped landscapes, transforming cities into bustling hubs of activity. The influx of populations led to increased demand for office space, a phenomenon that initially appeared to bolster the shared office concept. This surge presented an opportunity, with many viewing it as a chance to capitalize on the evolving work culture. The rise of remote working, however, introduced complexities that challenged traditional notions of space utilization. In this region, towering structures, once symbols of economic prosperity, began to reflect a different reality. Occupancy rates fluctuated, revealing an unsettling trend where businesses reevaluated their spatial needs. Companies started prioritizing cost efficiency, often opting for reduced physical footprints. The ethos of collaboration, once thriving, faced scrutiny as organizations adapted to hybrid models. These ruins of optimism lingered in vacant offices, where the promise of community and shared resources faded into silence. The once bustling environments became echoes of a past ideal, illustrating a disconnect between urban growth and the evolving requirements of businesses. As urban centers continued to expand, the mismatch between supply and demand became increasingly pronounced. The ambitious vision of communal workspaces, designed to foster connectivity, now confronted the stark realities of economic downturns, leading to a reassessment of the future of office environments. The narrative of shared spaces shifted, unveiling a complex interplay between growth and sustainability. Aggressive expansion characterized the approach of this fading company, with locations springing up in urban centers across the globe. They pursued rapid growth, often prioritizing the acquisition of prime real estate over the careful consideration of long-term viability. This strategy led to an influx of new members, drawn by the allure of flexible office solutions and vibrant work environments. Yet, beneath the surface, the foundations of this expansion began to show signs of strain. Investment capital flooded in during the early years, allowing it to rapidly scale operations without a sustainable profit model. The focus remained on increasing physical presence, often at the expense of operational efficiency and employee satisfaction. These decisions contributed to a burgeoning network of locations, yet many operated at a loss, unable to support the lavish amenities that had been promised. The contrast between ambitious growth and sustainable practices became increasingly apparent. As market conditions shifted, the realization set in that the model was unsustainable. Overhead costs mounted, and occupancy rates fluctuated. Investors began to question the viability of this approach, which had once seemed like an innovative solution to modern workspaces. The balance between expansion and sustainability tilted precariously, marking a pivotal moment in the trajectory of the organization. The decline was imminent, quietly signaling the end of an ambitious era. A shift in cultural attitudes began to take shape, reflecting changing priorities among the workforce. This region saw the rise of the millennial demographic, who increasingly valued work-life balance over traditional corporate structures. The allure of flexible workspaces initially resonated deeply, promising an environment conducive to creativity and collaboration. Yet, as time progressed, the reality diverged from these ideals, revealing a disconnect between aspirations and outcomes. An overemphasis on open layouts and community engagement failed to address fundamental needs for privacy and focus. It became evident that the desire for a harmonious blend of professional and personal life was often overshadowed by the pressures of a high-paced environment. Workers sought refuge from the cacophony, yearning for a sanctuary where productivity could flourish without distraction. This discontent manifested in a gradual erosion of trust in shared office spaces as the initial excitement waned. The promise of community transformed into feelings of isolation, with individuals often feeling lost in the collective. The corporate landscape struggled to adapt to the evolving expectations of the millennial workforce, which sought not just a place to work, but a meaningful connection to their professional lives. The fading company could not harness these cultural shifts, leading to a decline that reflected a profound misunderstanding of the workforce it aimed to attract. Technological advancements played a critical role in shaping the modern workspace, offering tools designed to enhance collaboration and productivity. Innovative software solutions emerged, promoting seamless connectivity and communication among teams. Platforms for virtual meetings, project management, and instant messaging became essential, transforming how employees interacted within shared environments. This region, once bustling with the promise of creative synergy, began to feel the weight of neglect. The technology that had the potential to elevate the workspace experience became a mere afterthought, overshadowed by the company's operational missteps. Many potential tenants sought flexible arrangements that catered to their evolving needs, yet the fading company struggled to deliver an integrated technological experience. Competitors capitalized on this gap, introducing smart office solutions that offered adjustable lighting, climate control, and advanced security systems. These advancements allowed organizations to tailor their environments according to individual preferences, fostering a sense of ownership and comfort. In contrast, the original vision for shared spaces became lost amid mounting logistical issues and stagnant innovation. With each passing year, the disparity between expectations and reality widened, leaving a fragmented offering that failed to resonate. The decline of this once promising enterprise serves as a reminder of the importance of adapting to technological trends and responding to the needs of a dynamic workforce. Community events and networking opportunities were once a cornerstone of the shared office space model. Each gathering aimed to foster connections among professionals, igniting collaboration and innovation within these communal environments. As the company expanded, these initiatives became increasingly ambitious, often showcasing influential speakers and dynamic workshops. The intention was to create a vibrant ecosystem where businesses could thrive collectively. In these spaces, individuals engaged in discussions that spanned diverse industries, fostering a sense of belonging. Workshops, designed to enhance skills and share knowledge, proliferated throughout the calendar. These endeavors attracted entrepreneurs, freelancers, and corporate teams alike, all seeking the synergy that could arise from shared experiences. The hope was that these interactions would lead to fruitful partnerships and creative ideas. Despite the initial enthusiasm, the effectiveness of these events began to wane as the company faced mounting challenges. Attendance dwindled, and the atmosphere shifted from one of excitement to a quiet disinterest. The vibrant exchanges that once filled the air turned into muted conversations as the allure of networking faded. This decline mirrored the broader challenges faced by the organization, highlighting the disconnect between its original vision and the evolving landscape of work. An ambitious strategy centered on attracting enterprise clients emerged as a crucial component of growth. Partnerships with established corporations were intended to provide stability and credibility. This approach aimed to position shared office spaces as not merely a temporary solution, but as essential infrastructure for modern businesses. Over time, these alliances were meant to create a network of satisfied corporate users, showcasing the potential for scalability. The allure of flexible workspaces, coupled with the promise of enhanced collaboration, seemed to resonate with many organizations. Corporations were drawn to a model that offered adaptability in an increasingly uncertain economic environment. This was particularly relevant as traditional office setups were reevaluated, prompting a search for versatility. The appeal of short-term leases and customizable spaces was palpable, providing a stark contrast to the rigidity of conventional real estate. Despite initial enthusiasm, the partnerships often fell short of expectations. The anticipated influx of enterprise clients failed to materialize at the scale required to sustain operations. Many organizations remained hesitant, preferring to maintain their own spaces or adopt hybrid models that did not fully embrace shared environments. This reluctance revealed deeper issues within the corporate ethos, as the vision of a unified, collaborative workplace began to fade, leaving behind a fragmented landscape of unmet aspirations. Amenities and services initially designed to enhance member experience began to lose their intended luster. The vibrant communal areas, once bustling with creativity and collaboration, transformed into underutilized spaces, their potential largely unrealized. Many members sought the promise of a thriving community, yet the actual offerings often fell short of expectations. Concierge services, which were meant to provide personalized assistance, became increasingly inconsistent. The initial enthusiasm for wellness programs, including yoga classes and health-focused events, waned as participation dwindled. This decline reflected a broader disengagement, as members gravitated toward other environments that could meet their needs more effectively. The coffee bars, once heralded as gathering points, struggled to maintain quality and variety. An increasing number of complaints regarding the lack of adequate refreshments became commonplace. Meeting rooms, designed for collaboration, often sat empty, their reservations declining as companies reassessed their reliance on shared spaces. Resource centers that promised to bolster professional development found their workshops increasingly unattended, signaling a disconnect between the anticipated benefits and the reality experienced by members. This erosion of value within the offerings contributed to a sense of disillusionment. The once promising vision of an innovative workplace, imbued with vibrant community interaction, faced the harsh truth of unmet expectations, leaving behind a hollow shell of what could have been. Expansion into new markets marked a pivotal chapter in its journey. The allure of global reach promised unprecedented opportunities as leaders sought to capitalize on emerging trends in workspaces. Initial interest surged, with ambitious plans to establish locations in cities across multiple continents. Each new site was envisioned as a beacon of collaboration, heralding a revolutionary approach to office culture. Challenges swiftly surfaced, however, as local regulations and varying cultural attitudes toward shared workspaces complicated entry strategies. In some regions, the promise of flexible office solutions clashed with established norms and preferences for traditional office setups. Resistance from existing businesses posed additional hurdles, creating obstacles that were not easily navigated. The initial zeal faded as the realities of these markets became apparent. High-profile openings in prime locations often led to underwhelming occupancy rates, revealing a disconnect between market assumptions and consumer needs. The operational costs soared, driven by lavish designs and extensive amenities intended to attract clients. These financial strains intensified as revenue projections fell short, creating a precarious balance sheet. While some locations thrived in metropolitan hubs, many others languished in obscurity. The once celebrated expansion narrative began to shift quietly towards a tale of overreach, illustrating the complexities inherent in scaling an innovative concept across disparate landscapes. The dream of a united, shared office experience encountered a sobering reality. Initial public offering plans were presented with great fanfare, generating a wave of excitement that swept through financial circles. This event promised to unveil the potential of a revolutionary business model that sought to redefine the workspace. Anticipation was palpable, as investors envisioned a new era of collaborative environments that catered to the evolving needs of the modern workforce. They were drawn to projections of explosive growth and the allure of a flexible, dynamic office experience. A meticulously crafted narrative accompanied these plans, portraying the company as an innovative juggernaut. Financial analysts and media outlets amplified this vision, indulging in the promise of unprecedented returns. In this environment, the stock price was expected to soar, reflecting a belief in the transformative nature of shared office spaces. Enthusiasm quickly turned to speculation, with expectations escalating to staggering heights. As the anticipated debut approached, the reality of financial disclosures began to surface. Concerns emerged regarding profitability and sustainability, casting shadows on the once rosy projections. Investors grappled with discrepancies between the initial vision and the emerging truths. This juxtaposition laid the groundwork for a disheartening shift in sentiment. The exuberance that had characterized the lead-up to the IPO was now tempered by the realization that the path forward would not be as straightforward as once assumed. The influence of SoftBank loomed large in this landscape, a titan of investment that had once seen promise in the shared office space concept. Their financial commitment, amounting to nearly $30 billion, positioned them as a critical player in shaping the company's trajectory. This capital infusion was initially perceived as a lifeline, enabling rapid expansion and an ambitious vision. As time passed, this reliance on SoftBank began to reveal underlying vulnerabilities. The enormous expectations tied to these investments placed immense pressure on leadership, driving them to pursue aggressive growth strategies that often prioritized scale over sustainability. Decisions became increasingly influenced by the desire to meet investor demands, sometimes at the expense of financial prudence. In the corridors of power, the relationship between the two entities grew complex. SoftBank's vision of a revolutionary workspace clashed with the operational realities and market conditions. The once celebrated partnership now appeared strained, as concerns mounted about the economic viability of the shared office model. Financial reports began to reflect a troubling narrative. The mounting losses, coupled with a shifting market landscape, compelled investors to reassess their positions. This reevaluation would unveil an array of controversies, particularly surrounding leadership decisions and governance issues. The early stages of this venture were marked by bold proclamations and ambitious strategies, often led by a charismatic figure whose vision captivated investors and potential clients alike. Yet, as time unfolded, the very decisions that appeared visionary began to reveal troubling undertones. Concerns about corporate governance became increasingly pronounced. Leadership, characterized by a lack of checks and balances, pursued aggressive expansion without adequate oversight. Financial mismanagement emerged, casting shadows over the once promising trajectory. It was not merely about the spaces being created, it was about the integrity and sustainability of these ambitions. Internal dissent grew, manifesting in reports of a toxic culture that prioritized growth over employee welfare. Whistleblowers and critics highlighted the dissonance between the company's public narrative and the realities faced by those within its walls. These revelations contributed to a growing unease among stakeholders who began to question the direction and ethical considerations of the enterprise. In boardrooms, tensions escalated as members grappled with the implications of leadership decisions. The lack of strategic alignment and oversight became evident, leading to a reassessment of priorities. The once bright dream of shared office spaces faded, overshadowed by the complexities of governance and the consequences of unchecked ambition. Adam Neumann's leadership exhibited a striking duality, where charisma coexisted with controversy. His magnetic presence drew investors and employees alike, cultivating an environment filled with optimism and ambition. Neumann's vision for a new way of working resonated deeply within the tech-savvy culture, inspiring many to believe in a future characterized by collaboration and innovation. His ability to articulate a compelling narrative around community and connection became a hallmark of his tenure. Beneath this allure lay a series of contentious decisions and behaviors. Reports of erratic management styles and a lack of transparency began to surface, raising questions about the sustainability of his approach. The grandiosity of his ambitions sometimes overshadowed practical considerations, leading to significant financial missteps. The exuberance that once fueled growth gradually morphed into a liability as stakeholders grappled with the implications of his unyielding drive. As financial pressures mounted, the dissonance between the charismatic leader and the unfolding reality became increasingly pronounced. Investors began to scrutinize the underlying fundamentals, recognizing that the allure of shared spaces did not equate to profitable operations. This divergence marked a pivotal moment in the trajectory of the fading company, as the weight of Neumann's controversial decisions gradually eclipsed the initial enthusiasm surrounding the shared office space dream. The early signs of trouble became evident as financial mismanagement seeped into the operations. Rapid expansion, intended to capture market share, led to unsustainable lease agreements and excessive capital expenditures. This region, once vibrant with the promise of collaborative workspaces, now bore witness to mounting debts that threatened its very foundation. Investment rounds, initially celebrated, began to mask an underlying instability. Valuations soared, yet the actual revenue struggled to keep pace. These ruins of ambition revealed a company more focused on growth at any cost than on sustainable profitability. The allure of shared spaces transformed into a burden as operational inefficiencies multiplied. Overhead soared while occupancy rates fluctuated, exposing a fragile business model. It became increasingly clear that the dream of communal work environments could not endure the strain of fiscal irresponsibility. Advisors and stakeholders raised concerns, but their warnings often went unheeded. Instead of recalibrating strategies, expansions continued, influenced by a culture of optimism that disregarded caution. As the financial statements began to tell a different story, the once celebrated vision started to unravel. In boardrooms and conference calls, unease settled like a fog, casting shadows over future projections and aspirations. The narrative shifted from growth to survival, leaving the shared office space dream hanging by a thread. The disappointment following the 2019 initial public offering was palpable, reverberating through the financial corridors where hope had once flourished. Investors watched the anticipated ascent transform into a rapid descent, their confidence in shared workspaces dwindling. Analysts began to reassess the viability of the model, questioning its sustainability and profitability in a shifting marketplace. This disillusionment was met with a wave of sell-offs, as those who had placed faith in the company's future sought to mitigate their losses. The stock's value plummeted, reflecting a broader skepticism that permeated the investment community. Detractors of the venture expressed concerns over mounting losses and a business strategy that seemed increasingly tenuous. In the aftermath, a stark realization emerged: the romanticized vision of co-working spaces as vibrant ecosystems of collaboration was fading. Investors began to retreat, with many turning to more traditional, stable ventures. The allure of shared office space, once a beacon of innovation, was now perceived as fraught with risk. The corporate landscape shifted, leaving behind empty offices and unfulfilled promises. The decline served as a cautionary tale, illustrating the fragility of ambitious ventures in an unpredictable economy. As the dust settled, it became evident that the dream of a new way to work had been irrevocably altered. A profound shift began to reshape the landscape of co-working spaces. The initial enthusiasm that fueled expansion dimmed as economic realities took precedence. It became apparent that the allure of flexibility and community was not enough to sustain countless locations. Companies operated under the assumption that demand would continue to rise, but the tides turned as remote work gained traction. This region, once bustling with entrepreneurs and freelancers, began to reflect a stark contrast, with vacant desks and quiet hallways signaling a retreat from the shared office model. Major players in the industry faced mounting pressure to adapt. The oversaturation of co-working spaces led to increased competition, forcing many to reevaluate their business strategies. They were compelled to offer more than just physical space. Amenities had to be enhanced, and service quality improved to retain clients. The focus shifted toward creating tailored environments that catered to specific needs, rather than a one-size-fits-all approach. In the wake of these changes, consolidation became prevalent. Smaller operators struggled to survive, leading to a series of mergers and acquisitions as larger entities sought to strengthen their market positions. This recalibration of the sector signaled a recognition that the initial vision of shared work environments required substantial rethinking and innovation to endure in an increasingly complex economic climate. Regulatory challenges emerged as significant hurdles for the fading company, complicating its efforts to establish a foothold in various markets. Local laws and zoning regulations often proved to be intricate and at times contradictory. Each jurisdiction presented its unique set of requirements, forcing it to navigate a labyrinth of bureaucratic obstacles. This complexity hindered expansion plans, making the once promising concept of shared office spaces increasingly difficult to realize. In numerous cities, zoning restrictions limited the types of businesses that could operate within certain districts. This resulted in lengthy approval processes for new locations, draining resources and delaying openings. Communities often expressed concerns about the impact of co-working spaces on neighborhood dynamics, leading to pushback from residents and local authorities. These tensions frequently resulted in contentious public hearings, where the merits of shared work environments were debated in detail. Compliance with varying labor laws also posed a challenge, with some municipalities implementing regulations that complicated operational models. It necessitated meticulous attention to detail and significant investment in legal counsel, diverting focus from core business strategies. As resources stretched thin, the once celebrated idea of creating vibrant collaborative spaces began to falter under the weight of these external pressures, further amplifying the uncertainty surrounding its future in the marketplace. Employee morale shifted noticeably as the pressures mounted. A palpable discontent permeated the environment, once filled with enthusiasm and innovation. This region, characterized by its open spaces and communal gatherings, began to feel increasingly isolating. The workforce, once inspired by the shared mission of redefining workspaces, now found itself grappling with instability and anxiety. Internal culture, previously celebrated for its inclusivity and creativity, faced significant erosion. Communications from leadership became sporadic and often lacked transparency. Disagreements over strategic direction fostered an atmosphere of distrust. Employees no longer felt engaged in a collaborative effort. Instead, they were left navigating a labyrinth of uncertainty regarding their roles and the company's prospects. As layoffs became more frequent, the sense of community frayed. Team members who once celebrated victories together now stood on the precipice of losing their livelihoods. The vibrant discussions that once echoed through open-plan offices were replaced by hushed conversations and whispered concerns. Individuals began to seek refuge in silence rather than camaraderie, a stark contrast to the ethos that had initially drawn them to this innovative venture. This decline in employee morale manifested in productivity levels, further weakening the company's operational capacity. The once dynamic workforce now reflected a broader struggle, caught in the tide of a fading vision. The fading company sought to adapt to shifting economic conditions through various strategies. Leadership initiated cost-cutting measures aimed at reducing overhead and stabilizing financial health. These included renegotiating leases and downsizing office space, an act emblematic of the retreat from expansive growth. The once prominent flexible workspaces were reevaluated, with an increasing focus on essential locations rather than a broad, sprawling network. Innovation emerged in the form of new offerings, such as hybrid solutions to appeal to a changing clientele. This region of shared office spaces became characterized by an effort to attract smaller businesses and freelancers, adjusting to a market increasingly defined by remote work. The company emphasized community building and enhanced amenities to create an inviting atmosphere, countering perceptions of obsolescence. Marketing campaigns were pivoted, highlighting adaptability and resilience. Messaging centered around collaboration, fostering connections in a time of isolation. This shift aimed to reassure potential clients that the company could provide more than just a desk. It sought to offer a sanctuary amid uncertainty. Despite these efforts, the struggle to regain momentum persisted. Market confidence remained fragile, and the once innovative approach felt stifled by the weight of its past. The environment transformed from vibrant opportunity to a place of quiet reflection on the realities of an evolving economic landscape. This change in perception accelerated dramatically with the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. Uncertainty enveloped the world, leading to widespread lockdowns and a reevaluation of traditional work environments. In this context, office spaces, once bustling with activity, found themselves eerily quiet. Many organizations began to explore remote work as a viable alternative, fundamentally questioning the necessity of shared office spaces. The pandemic acted as a catalyst for a shift in priorities. Flexibility became paramount, and the allure of communal workspaces diminished. Companies reevaluated their real estate commitments, resulting in a sharp decline in demand for leased office spaces. The vision of collaborative environments morphed into a hesitation to gather in physical proximity, as health concerns took precedence over the ideals of shared creativity and networking. This transformation left many vacant areas within those once promising establishments. The open floor plans, designed to foster innovation, now stood as reminders of a different era. Significant losses followed, as many organizations opted to downsize or eliminate their office footprints entirely. The shared office concept, originally seen as a revolutionary approach to work, now faced an uncertain future, overshadowed by the prevailing sentiment that remote work could provide the same, if not better, opportunities for productivity and connection. The traditional office landscape began to shift dramatically as remote work gained traction. This change was fueled by technological advancements that facilitated seamless communication and collaboration across great distances. Virtual meetings and cloud-based applications became commonplace, rendering the physical office less essential in day-to-day operations. Employees embraced the flexibility of working from home, leading to greater satisfaction in their work-life balance. Companies, in response, started reevaluating their real estate investments. The once coveted office spaces, filled with open-plan designs and communal areas, began to lose their allure. The financial implications of maintaining extensive leases weighed heavily on many organizations. As businesses downsized their physical footprints, they redirected resources towards enhancing remote work capabilities. This transition also highlighted a significant cultural shift within the workforce. People craved autonomy and the ability to tailor their work environments to their preferences. The allure of remote work fostered a new kind of employee loyalty, one rooted in flexibility rather than proximity to an office. This region experienced a distinct decline in demand for shared office spaces. Uncertainty loomed as companies navigated the uncharted waters of hybrid work models. The fading company, once a beacon of innovation, struggled to adapt to a reality where the traditional office was no longer the epicenter of productivity. Emerging from the ashes of corporate upheaval, co-working spaces began to redefine their purpose in a transformed landscape. The pandemic prompted a reevaluation of work environments, leading to a surge in demand for flexibility and adaptability. Organizations sought alternatives to rigid office structures, gravitating towards these communal spaces that encouraged collaboration while allowing for social distancing. It became evident that such environments could cater to diverse needs, offering individuals and businesses an array of options from private offices to shared desks. Entrepreneurs and freelancers found value in the vibrant atmosphere, fostering a sense of community that had been missing in conventional office settings. This region witnessed a revitalization as these spaces adapted to the shifting priorities of their clientele. In response to the evolving demands, operators implemented strict health protocols and enhanced amenities, ensuring safety without sacrificing comfort. The integration of technology played a pivotal role, enabling seamless connectivity and allowing remote work to flourish within these collaborative hubs. Flexible agreements emerged, appealing to those who preferred short-term commitments over lengthy leases. As traditional giants faltered, the resilience of co-working spaces became apparent. They thrived on the principles of adaptability and community engagement, offering a blueprint for the future of work. This evolving narrative signaled a shift as the focus moved from ownership to shared experiences in the realm of professional environments. In a relentless pursuit of sustainability, cost-cutting measures became paramount for the fading company. Layoffs emerged as a favored strategy, resulting in significant reductions across various departments. Employees, once considered integral to the vision, found themselves facing uncertainty as their roles were eliminated in waves. The atmosphere shifted from collaborative innovation to apprehensive survival. Downsizing strategies extended beyond personnel. Physical spaces, once vibrant with the energy of creativity, began to reflect the stark reality of financial constraints. Expansion slowed, and previously bustling locations became shadows of their former selves. The once sought-after communal areas where individuals thrived transformed into quiet, underutilized workspaces, echoing the pressures of an uncertain future. The organization implemented stringent budgetary controls, examining every expenditure with a critical eye. This scrutiny led to the cancellation of projects that had originally been deemed essential to its identity. A focus on minimizing operational costs meant that essential services were cut, resulting in a diminished experience for remaining members. In this climate of austerity, the image of a collaborative community eroded, replaced by a necessity for survival. The dream of shared office spaces began to feel increasingly distant, overshadowed by the harsh realities of financial instability and the ever-present need to adapt in a changing marketplace. Leadership underwent a profound transformation following the departure of Adam Newman. His vision, once revered, had begun to unravel under scrutiny, revealing cracks that had long been concealed. In the wake of his exit, the organization faced the urgent task of redefining its identity and direction. This required a delicate balance of maintaining the innovative spirit that had initially attracted so many while simultaneously instilling a sense of fiscal responsibility. New leadership emerged, tasked with navigating the turbulent waters left behind. They confronted the remnants of a once promising concept, now burdened by a legacy of overexpansion and mismanagement. Decisions became more conservative, focused on sustainability rather than rapid growth. It was a stark contrast to the former approach, characterized by bold claims and extravagant visions. With this shift, the emphasis rested on reassessing operational efficiencies and adapting to the evolving landscape of remote work. The new team engaged in difficult conversations about the viability of traditional office setups and the necessity of flexible arrangements. Each decision carried the weight of the previous era's failures, a reminder of the consequences of unchecked ambition. Amidst the ruins of the past, there lingered a sense of cautious optimism. The hope remained that this transition would lead to renewed stability, fostering a more sustainable future for the shared office space industry. Changes in management emerged as a critical element in response to the challenges faced. New leadership stepped into the void, armed with ambitious visions and the promise of rejuvenation. They sought to redefine the operational framework, emphasizing a commitment to fiscal responsibility and a recalibrated approach to growth. Strategic directions shifted, focusing on consolidating existing assets rather than aggressive expansion. These leaders embraced a more cautious mindset, scrutinizing the previous ventures that had led to significant financial strain and market uncertainty. Efforts were made to streamline operations, reduce overhead, and renegotiate leases, reflecting a stark contrast to the earlier ethos of limitless growth. The leadership team engaged in a thorough analysis of market demands, aiming to align offerings with the evolving needs of tenants. This focus on sustainability prompted a reevaluation of long-term goals, guiding decisions towards profitability rather than sheer volume. The rhetoric surrounding innovation and flexibility remained, yet it was underpinned by a newfound pragmatism. As changes took root, the atmosphere within this fading company reflected a blend of uncertainty and cautious optimism, where every decision was meticulously weighed against potential risks. Amidst these adjustments, the external landscape continued to shift, with competitors adapting and emerging, further complicating the fragile recovery efforts in the shared office space domain. The urgent need for financial stability led to a strategy of asset liquidation, a necessary yet stark maneuver that underscored the gravity of the situation. Properties were evaluated, with numerous locations deemed surplus to requirements. These decisions, often driven by a need to reduce liabilities, highlighted the stark realities faced by this once prominent player in the shared office space market. Sales commenced with properties listed at competitive prices, often below market value. The swift offloading of real estate assets became a critical lifeline, aimed at generating immediate cash flow. Each transaction served as a reminder of past ambitions, now overshadowed by mounting debts and dwindling investor confidence. As these properties changed hands, the impact on local markets became evident. Formerly sought-after spaces transformed into reminders of optimism lost. New ownership often brought in different visions, leading to diverse interpretations of what these locations could offer. Operational costs were scrutinized, leading to further reductions in workforce and services. The adjustment was painful, affecting morale across various levels. Each step taken in this direction revealed the intricate connection between financial health and overall organizational ethos. The road ahead remained uncertain, yet the imperative to stabilize and adapt persisted, reflecting the broader challenges faced in this evolving industry. Rebranding initiatives emerged as a response to the growing concerns surrounding the WeWork image. Efforts were directed toward redefining its narrative, emphasizing community, collaboration, and flexibility. Marketing campaigns aimed to shift public perception, highlighting the diverse range of services offered, from creative office spaces to innovative meeting environments. This focus on community was intended to resonate with potential clients seeking not just a desk, but a vibrant ecosystem that catered to their professional needs. Visual identity underwent significant changes as well. New logos, color palettes, and design elements were carefully curated to evoke a sense of renewal and modernity. The physical spaces transformed, incorporating natural elements and contemporary aesthetics, creating an inviting atmosphere. This effort was not merely cosmetic. It aimed to restore confidence among investors and tenants alike. Amid these changes, voices within the organization advocated for a return to foundational principles, emphasizing the importance of member experience and engagement. Feedback loops were established, allowing clients to influence future offerings. Initiatives included hosting community events and networking opportunities to foster connections among members. While these rebranding efforts reflected a desire to reshape the narrative, skepticism lingered. The relentless pursuit of profitability cast a long shadow over the bright new identity. Trust, once lost, proved challenging to regain in the competitive landscape of shared office spaces. Amidst the ruins of its ambitious expansion, insights emerge that resonate beyond the confines of this fading company. Founders and entrepreneurs can observe the inherent risks of prioritizing rapid growth over sustainable practices. The allure of market dominance, while enticing, often clouds judgment, leading to decisions that compromise long-term viability. Strategic planning must include a diligent analysis of financial health, ensuring that growth aspirations do not outpace fiscal responsibility. Transparency becomes another crucial lesson, as the trust of stakeholders hinges upon honest communication. The misalignment between the company's public persona and its internal realities alienated investors and employees alike. This emphasizes the importance of cultivating authentic relationships within the broader business ecosystem. Furthermore, a focus on company culture is paramount. A cohesive environment fosters loyalty and productivity, laying the groundwork for resilience in challenging times. Startups should prioritize alignment between vision and values, ensuring that every team member feels a sense of purpose. Adaptability also stands out as a key takeaway. The landscape of shared workspaces evolved rapidly, and a rigid approach hindered this fading company. Other startups can benefit from remaining flexible, responsive to market shifts and consumer needs. In the journey of entrepreneurship, these lessons serve not merely as cautionary tales, but as guiding principles for future endeavors. The future of shared workspaces presents a landscape marked by both uncertainty and opportunity. Trends indicate a shift towards more flexible arrangements, reflecting the evolving needs of a diverse workforce. Companies are increasingly prioritizing adaptability, allowing employees to choose their work environment based on personal preferences and project requirements. This flexibility fosters a sense of autonomy and encourages a blend of remote and in-office collaboration. The emergence of hybrid models signals a potential reimagining of traditional corporate structures. Businesses are gradually integrating technology to streamline operations within these shared environments. Enhanced digital platforms facilitate seamless communication and resource management, ensuring that teams can interact effectively, regardless of their physical location. Sustainability has also become a significant focus. Many organizations are exploring eco-friendly designs and energy-efficient practices in their shared spaces. The intention is to create not only functional environments, but also ones that align with growing societal concerns regarding environmental impact. Investors are cautiously optimistic, recognizing the demand for innovative solutions in the shared workspace market. They are looking for opportunities that embrace community building and enhanced user experiences. This approach may allow these companies to adapt and thrive, albeit in a significantly altered business landscape. Understanding these trends will be crucial as the industry navigates potential recovery and growth. The psychological impact of co-working environments has been a subject of considerable analysis. These spaces were designed to foster collaboration, creativity, and a sense of community among diverse professionals. Many believed that the shared office model would invigorate productivity through interaction and networking. In practice, however, the reality often diverged from these ideals. Users frequently reported feelings of isolation despite proximity to others. The initial excitement of communal workspaces often faded quickly, replaced by an overwhelming sense of distraction and a lack of privacy. This region, once filled with the promise of vibrant engagement, increasingly resembled a cacophony of competing demands for attention. The open layouts intended to encourage teamwork inadvertently led to heightened stress levels. Workers found themselves grappling with constant interruptions and an inability to concentrate. This phenomenon contributed to a decline in mental well-being among many individuals who sought the benefits of collaboration without the accompanying drawbacks. Over time, the allure of flexibility and innovation faded, revealing a stark reality of fluctuating morale. The once thriving atmosphere of shared spaces began to erode as companies struggled to adapt to changing workforce needs. The increasing disillusionment among users highlighted a significant gap between the envisioned purpose of these environments and the actual experiences of those who occupied them. The emergence of hybrid work models marked a new chapter in the evolution of workspace design. This transformation shifted the focus from traditional office settings to more flexible arrangements. Employees sought environments that could cater to their diverse needs, blurring the lines between remote and on-site work. In this context, co-working spaces began to adapt, attempting to re-establish relevance amidst changing demands. Structures that once thrived on communal energy now served as adaptable hubs. They offered a mix of dedicated desks, private offices, and collaborative areas designed to accommodate the varying preferences of a modern workforce. This region became a testing ground for innovative configurations and amenities aimed at fostering productivity while maintaining a sense of community among users. Operators of shared spaces found themselves navigating the complexities of fluctuating occupancy rates. These spaces were challenged to create environments that felt safe and inviting. As health concerns and personal preferences influenced choices, many began to prioritize cleanliness and technology-enhanced experiences. The narrative of coworking's evolution continued to unfold. Companies endeavored to redefine their value propositions, aiming to attract a clientele that now prioritized flexibility over permanence. The previously unwavering faith in shared office spaces began to wane, leading to an industry in profound reassessment, revealing deeper questions about the future of work itself. A growing awareness of environmental responsibility began to shape the conversation around commercial real estate. This shift prompted an examination of sustainability initiatives undertaken by entities like WeWork. Their commitment to eco-friendly practices emerged as a crucial focal point, revealing an effort to align with a rapidly changing global consciousness. Renewable energy sources became a consideration in the design of new locations, with solar panels and energy-efficient systems introduced to reduce carbon footprints. The introduction of materials sourced from sustainable suppliers demonstrated a desire to minimize negative impacts on the environment. In this region, these actions were met with both praise and skepticism, raising questions about their authenticity in the context of commercial interests. Employees and clients alike sought assurance that the emphasis on sustainability was more than just a marketing strategy. Green certifications for buildings offered some validation, yet concerns lingered regarding the overall efficacy of such initiatives in an expansive business model. This pursuit of environmental stewardship, while well-intentioned, faced scrutiny as the viability of shared workspaces came into question. The juxtaposition of financial instability against a backdrop of eco-conscious efforts illustrated a complex narrative. As public sentiment increasingly favored sustainability, the challenge became one of reconciling these ideals with the realities of a struggling enterprise. The role of design within workspaces has often been a contentious topic, oscillating between aesthetic appeal and functional necessity. In this environment, it became evident that the original vision for shared office spaces emphasized a vibrant and innovative aesthetic. Bright colors, open layouts, and unique furnishings were meant to inspire creativity and collaboration. This was celebrated as it attracted a diverse range of tenants seeking a modern workspace infused with an air of casual productivity. Yet the allure of design gradually dimmed in the face of operational demands. Practicality began to clash with decorative choices. The need for efficient layouts, adequate privacy, and sound management overshadowed the initial focus on style. With fluctuating occupancy rates, the balance tipped towards functionality, revealing the underlying challenges of maintaining a visually captivating environment while ensuring business viability. This shift was particularly pronounced in regions where economic constraints forced many to reconsider their workspace investments. Companies found themselves reassessing not only their spatial needs, but also the overall purpose of their work environments. The ideal of a dynamic office that fostered community began to fracture as the pressures of a stabilizing economy took precedence. In these fading spaces, the contrast between a carefully curated aesthetic and the stark realities of everyday operations became increasingly apparent, reflecting a broader narrative of decline. Community played a pivotal role in the original vision of shared office spaces. Initially, it was seen as a driving force, fostering collaboration among diverse professionals. This element created an environment where innovation could thrive and connections flourished. Over time, the essence of this community began to fray. A once vibrant atmosphere transformed into a series of disconnected interactions, where individuals occupied desks without a sense of belonging. Networking events and workshops once buzzed with energy, cultivating relationships and opportunities. Gradually, attendance dwindled and enthusiasm waned. The allure of community faded, leaving behind a hollow echo of its former self. Individuals seeking connection found themselves navigating a sea of isolation, where shared experiences turned into solitary routines. In a landscape where camaraderie was touted as a key benefit, the absence of genuine interaction became a notable deficiency. The carefully designed spaces, intended to facilitate collaboration, began to feel more like a collection of individual workstations than a thriving ecosystem. The fading company struggled to address this growing disconnect as members sought fulfillment beyond the desk. Attempts to rejuvenate this sense of camaraderie were often met with indifference. The initial promise of community became overshadowed by the stark realities of a disjointed experience. Investor sentiment began to shift as the realities of the disjointed experience unfolded. Early enthusiasm gave way to a cautious apprehension, with stakeholders grappling with the implications of the fading company's operational challenges. The once vibrant projections of growth were replaced by a sobering recognition of unsustainable practices and overexpansion. This region, once a hotspot for innovation and collaboration, witnessed a gradual retreat from the promise of shared office spaces. Investors became more discerning, reevaluating the viability of similar business models. The allure of flexible workspaces, which had once captivated the market, began to lose its luster. As WeWork struggles became evident, the broader implications for the co-working industry crystallized. Confidence waned, leading to a marked decline in funding for ventures perceived as lacking stability. The ripple effects were felt across the sector, illuminating the fragility of such ambitious undertakings. Many investors began to reassess their strategies, opting for more traditional, proven business models. The long-term impact of WeWork's decline resulted in a fundamental shift in investor attitudes. The shared office space dream, once a beacon of modern entrepreneurship, now served as a cautionary tale about the risks inherent in rapid growth without a robust foundation. The echoes of this downfall resonate throughout the investment landscape, marking a pivotal moment in corporate history. The evolution of flexible workspaces began with the promise of community and collaboration. This vision drew many entrepreneurs and businesses towards shared environments, where innovation thrived in open designs and shared amenities. In the early days, spaces brimmed with energy and excitement, attracting startups and larger corporations alike, all eager to embrace a new model of work. As WeWork rose to prominence, it embodied the aspirations of a generation seeking connection and flexibility. The allure of shared office spaces was not merely financial. It tapped into a cultural shift prioritizing work-life balance and agile business strategies. Yet, the rapid expansion became unsustainable, overshadowed by mounting debts and structural challenges. In its wake, the concept of flexible workspaces endured, morphing in response to changing demands. Many operators began to implement more personalized solutions, focusing on quality over quantity. This region now witnesses an assortment of smaller, community-focused spaces, each tailored to meet the unique needs of their clientele. Though the giants of the past have faltered, the vision of adaptable work environments continues to thrive. Companies are now prioritizing well-being and efficiency, curating environments that foster creativity while minimizing overhead costs. The landscape has shifted, yet the drive for flexibility remains a dominant force, redefining how workspaces are perceived and utilized in the modern economy. The success of shared office spaces has often hinged on strategic real estate partnerships. These collaborations have the potential to expand reach and enhance offerings. A well-placed partnership can provide access to prime locations, allowing for increased visibility and foot traffic. Conversely, Misaligned associations can lead to financial strain, as seen with certain ventures that overreached or misjudged market demands. In the pursuit of expansion, some companies became embroiled in costly lease agreements, tethered to spaces that failed to attract sufficient clientele. This miscalculation often stemmed from an optimistic view of growth projections, inflating expectations of occupancy rates. As vacancies rose, the burden of fixed costs weighed heavily on the fading company. Strategically, successful partnerships have involved a careful balance of risk and reward. Innovative agreements, such as revenue-sharing models or flexible terms, have been utilized to mitigate losses. This adaptability has allowed certain entities to thrive in challenging environments, securing sustainable growth. The lessons drawn from these experiences reveal the critical nature of alignment in real estate partnerships. A mismatch in vision or execution can precipitate decline, while thoughtful collaboration can yield resilience. In this evolving landscape, the role of real estate partnerships remains pivotal, shaping the future of workspace solutions and determining the trajectory of those seeking to capitalize on this paradigm shift. The collection of employee feedback through surveys has emerged as a critical component in gauging workplace satisfaction and productivity. This process, often seen as a barometer for the health of a company, offers insights that can inform strategic pivots. In the case of shared office spaces, responses often reflect broader sentiments regarding flexibility, collaboration, and the need for a conducive work environment. These surveys provide a window into the psyche of the workforce, revealing preferences for open layouts versus private offices, and highlighting the desire for amenities that cater to a diverse set of needs. The implications of this feedback are significant. It can guide management decisions and influence the design of future spaces. Despite the potential for constructive outcomes, the reality presents a more complex picture. High turnover rates and dissatisfaction among employees can skew results, leading to an incomplete understanding of the underlying issues. A misinterpretation of survey data may result in misguided investments or changes that fail to resonate with the intended audience. Financial recovery plans, emerging from the ruins of ambition, often take a methodical approach to operational sustainability. This involves the meticulous reassessment of existing resources, identifying inefficiencies that have long plagued the organization. Cost-cutting measures, initially met with resistance, become integral to the strategy, ensuring that expenditures align with the newly defined operational realities. Stakeholder engagement plays a crucial role in this phase. Conversations shift from grand visions to pragmatic solutions that resonate with those directly impacted by the company's trajectory. Employees, once buoyed by the promise of innovation, now find themselves at the forefront of a renewed focus on productivity and efficiency. Their feedback becomes invaluable in shaping a more sustainable workplace. Investments in technology are reevaluated, prioritizing those that enhance operational capabilities without overwhelming existing structures. This region, once characterized by expansive growth, now sees the emergence of a more cautious, calculated approach. Divestment of underperforming assets becomes essential, shedding weight that hinders the journey towards recovery. Resources are reallocated, focusing on core competencies that promise stability rather than speculative growth. These strategies, while modest in their ambition, aim to cultivate resilience in a landscape marked by uncertainty. The path to sustainability is neither swift nor glamorous, yet it is essential for the gradual reestablishment of trust and viability within the fading company. The emergence of technology startups played a pivotal role in shaping co-working spaces, fundamentally altering the landscape of shared work environments. Innovative companies sought flexibility, collaboration, and the creative energy that these environments fostered. This region, once dominated by traditional office spaces, witnessed an influx of agile workspaces designed to accommodate the evolving needs of modern enterprises. Open layouts, communal amenities, and high-speed internet became hallmarks of this movement. It attracted freelancers, small businesses, and larger corporations searching for cost-effective solutions. In this dynamic, the boundaries between work and social interaction blurred, creating a new culture of networking and connectivity. These shared office spaces thrived on the promise of community and collaboration, where ideas could flourish and partnerships could develop organically. The role of technology startups in this transformation cannot be understated. They introduced a fast-paced rhythm that emphasized adaptability and innovation. Simultaneously, the influx of such companies heightened competition, compelling existing entities to reinvent themselves or risk obsolescence. As aspirations grew, the business model faced mounting pressure to deliver profitability alongside the promise of creative synergy. This shift in focus contributed to an environment where the challenges of sustaining operational success became increasingly evident, casting a shadow over the once vibrant prospects of the co-working movement. International ventures initiated by the fading company initially signaled ambition and growth potential. Expansion into various global markets was met with enthusiasm, reflecting the desire to replicate success beyond its home base. Each location was tailored to local demands, offering flexible workspace solutions in major cities worldwide. This approach attracted diverse clientele, from freelancers to established enterprises seeking innovative office arrangements. Challenges soon emerged, however, as cultural differences and varying economic climates complicated operations. In regions where demand was anticipated to surge, it became apparent that local market saturation and competition were underestimated. These miscalculations led to overextension, burdening the organization with financial strain that was unsustainable. Furthermore, the allure of rapid growth overshadowed the need for robust operational frameworks. Many international locations struggled with occupancy rates, exacerbating financial discrepancies. The ambitious pursuit of expansion came at a cost, often resulting in closures and significant financial losses in several markets. Infrastructure investments proved to be burdensome as well, creating a rift between projected profitability and actual returns. The once optimistic narratives surrounding these ventures became overshadowed by the realities of a fluctuating global economy and the rising costs of maintaining facilities. The decline of this once promising model underscored the fragile nature of ambitious growth strategies in an increasingly competitive landscape. The rise and subsequent fall of the shared office space model reverberated throughout local economies and businesses, leaving indelible marks on both urban landscapes and community dynamics. In many cities, the advent of co-working spaces once promised revitalization, attracting entrepreneurs and freelancers to previously neglected neighborhoods. These developments sparked interest in surrounding retail and service industries, leading to a brief surge in foot traffic and economic activity. Cafes, restaurants, and shops flourished as the presence of energetic professionals bred a sense of vibrancy. This transformation, however, proved ephemeral. The rapid expansion of co-working spaces often led to inflated real estate prices, displacing long-standing local businesses and altering the character of neighborhoods. The initial allure of shared offices faded into a stark realization that many of these spaces operated at unsustainable capacities. Empty desks became a common sight, and the once thriving community of professionals began to diminish. The ripple effect was significant. Local economies experienced the duality of both growth and loss, as the original promise of co-working turned into a cautionary tale. Nearby businesses that relied on a consistent clientele faced challenges as foot traffic dwindled. The decline of the shared office space dream reverberated through many sectors, influencing perceptions of productivity and collaboration. Spaces once designed for innovation and creativity became shadows of their former selves, as their layout and aesthetics shifted under the weight of uncertainty. Open floor plans, initially heralded for fostering interaction, began to feel like chaotic arenas devoid of focus. Cubicles, once considered stifling, experienced a renaissance as employees sought refuge from the distractions of communal environments. This shift in preference illuminated the profound impact of design on mental well-being and the quest for productivity. Natural light, once a mere architectural consideration, transformed into a vital component for maintaining morale and concentration. The absence of privacy and personal space contributed to a pervasive sense of unease. Workers grappled with the constant presence of others, leading to increased stress levels and decreased efficiency. Quiet zones, intended as retreats, often remained underutilized, overwhelmed by the noise of bustling activity. In this fading landscape, the design of office environments directly influenced not just individual performance, but also collective aspirations. Companies that could no longer adapt their spaces to the evolving needs of their workforce found themselves trapped in a cycle of decline. The realization dawned that a well-designed environment is crucial for nurturing not only productivity, but also the very spirit of collaboration. The transition to a post-pandemic work culture fostered a reassessment of both physical and virtual workspaces. Companies began embracing flexibility, recognizing that traditional office settings no longer aligned with evolving employee expectations. This change shaped a landscape where hybrid models emerged, blending remote and in-office experiences. The burgeoning preference for remote work altered demand for shared office spaces, fundamentally challenging their viability. Many organizations found themselves reevaluating real estate commitments, leading to reduced footprints in urban centers. Surplus office space became a common sight as the once vibrant hubs teetered on the edge of obsolescence. The once promising vision of shared workspaces diminished as companies sought to decrease overhead costs, leading to widespread vacancies. Employees sought autonomy and comfort, favoring the intimacy of home offices over communal environments. The previously enticing allure of shared amenities and collaborative areas lost their appeal as isolation became a coping mechanism during uncertain times. This shift influenced the fate of various enterprises as they struggled to adapt to new norms. The optimistic forecasts surrounding the future of collaborative working environments began to falter under the weight of changing priorities. Organizations previously thriving in the shared office ecosystem faced mounting pressures to innovate or adapt to the emerging reality of a dispersed workforce, marking a poignant chapter in the evolution of work itself. Innovations in the co-working sector illustrate a shift towards more flexible and diversified offerings. Emerging companies are prioritizing the needs of their clients, creating tailored environments that promote productivity and collaboration. This region has witnessed the rise of niche spaces, catering to specific industries or communities, fostering a sense of belonging that was often absent in previous models. Emphasizing wellness, many new entrants incorporate amenities that enhance the physical and mental health of their patrons. Features such as natural lighting, greenery, and wellness programs have become standard, transforming the co-working experience into one that values employee satisfaction as much as functionality. The integration of technology also plays a critical role. Advanced booking systems and seamless connectivity ensure that businesses can adapt to the fluctuating demands of their workforce. These adaptations reflect a broader understanding of how space influences work behavior. By creating environments that are not only conducive to productivity, but also supportive of social interaction, a new paradigm is being established. Flexibility is no longer just a feature, but but a core principle guiding design and operations. Such developments encourage a reimagining of traditional workspaces, suggesting that the future of office environments may lie in diverse, dynamic solutions that prioritize the needs of their users. A careful examination of marketing strategies reveals significant lessons from WeWork's trajectory. Initial messaging focused on community, collaboration, and innovation, appealing to a generation seeking flexibility and connection. The allure of shared office space was presented as a groundbreaking alternative to conventional leasing, promising an ecosystem where creativity flourished. Such branding resonated deeply within urban centers, where the demand for agile work environments surged. In contrast, significant missteps became apparent as the company expanded. Overpromising and underdelivering on user experience led to dissatisfaction among tenants, eroding trust. An ambitious narrative often clashed with the reality of operational challenges, including inconsistent service quality and insufficient attention to member feedback. Marketing campaigns, while visually striking, sometimes lacked alignment with actual offerings. This disconnect created a gap between expectation and experience. The reliance on a singular growth narrative further complicated the situation. As the company pursued rapid expansion, it neglected the necessity of sustainable practices. This overreach diluted brand integrity, as many potential clients became cautious of a seemingly unstable enterprise. The complexities of these marketing choices illustrate a cautionary tale. They underscore the importance of authenticity and the need for a cohesive strategy that aligns with user experience, particularly in a market that thrives on genuine connection and reliability. The rise of social media platforms reshaped expectations surrounding shared workspaces. A digital landscape filled with curated images and lifestyle branding emphasized aesthetics and experience over functionality. This shift led many to equate the allure of a workspace with its visual appeal rather than its ability to foster productivity. These platforms showcased vibrant interiors and collaborative environments, presenting a picture of innovation and community. However, this emphasis often obscured the underlying operational challenges faced by providers. Users began to prioritize the visual over the practical, seeking spaces that promised social engagement rather than consistent support for their professional needs. The allure of trendy designs and communal areas drew attention, yet many providers struggled to maintain the balance necessary for sustainable growth in such a volatile market. Frequent changes in space usage, driven by trends propagated through these channels, led to inconsistent utilization and revenue fluctuations. As the market became saturated with providers attempting to capitalize on the social media phenomenon, differentiation became increasingly difficult. Many companies fell short in delivering on the promises made through digital marketing. Over time, disillusionment set in as users discovered that these vibrant spaces often lacked the intrinsic value they sought, feeding into the cycle of decline. The once promising vision of shared office space began to unravel amid the very trends that had propelled it forward. The dynamics of office space are evolving, shaped by shifts in work culture and technology. Predictions suggest a move toward flexibility, with hybrid models gaining prominence. Traditional office layouts may give way to adaptable environments that cater to both in-person and remote collaboration. This region could see an increase in co-working spaces that prioritize community and networking over mere desk rental. Technological advancements will influence design and functionality, integrating artificial intelligence and smart systems. These innovations may facilitate seamless communication and streamline operations, enabling organizations to optimize their resources effectively. Sustainability considerations will also play a critical role as companies seek eco-friendly solutions to reduce their carbon footprint. Green architecture may become standard, enhancing the appeal of office spaces. The concept of the office itself might be redefined, transitioning from a necessity to a choice. Employees may prioritize locations that foster creativity and well-being, leading to a potential rise in boutique-style workplaces. This shift could engender new business models where companies adapt to the desires of a highly mobile workforce. As the landscape continues to change, the viability of shared office spaces remains uncertain. Trends suggest that while some entities may flourish, others may falter, highlighting the importance of adaptability and foresight in navigating an unpredictable future. Economic indicators play a crucial role in determining the fate of co-working spaces. Fluctuations in employment rates often serve as a bellwether for demand within this sector. As organizations downsize or restructure, the need for flexible office arrangements can either surge or dwindle. The presence of a robust job market typically fosters entrepreneurial ventures, leading to heightened interest in shared work environments. Conversely, downturns can precipitate a decline as businesses curtail expenses and embrace remote work. Real estate trends further influence the viability of these spaces. In regions where commercial rents escalate uncontrollably, co-working solutions offer a viable alternative. This adaptability can become a double-edged sword, however. When the economy softens, vacant office spaces proliferate, creating an oversaturated market that diminishes demand for shared facilities. The vitality of the technology sector also cannot be overlooked. A thriving tech ecosystem often catalyzes innovation and collaboration in co-working spaces. When significant investment dries up, the vibrancy of these work hubs can fade as startups and freelancers reassess their operational needs. Demographic shifts also play a pivotal role. Younger generations, increasingly seeking flexibility over traditional employment structures, drive the demand for co-working environments. Yet, as their preferences evolve, so too must the offerings within these spaces. Community-centric strategies emerged as a primary focus in attempts to foster loyalty among members. This approach sought to create an environment where individuals felt a sense of belonging, even within the confines of shared office spaces. They designed events, workshops, and networking opportunities, aiming to cultivate connections among members. The intention was to encourage collaboration, innovation, and in practice, this meant investing in community managers, individuals tasked with understanding the unique needs and aspirations of the members. These professionals worked diligently to create an inclusive atmosphere, facilitating introductions and nurturing relationships. Over time, the hope was that this sense of community would translate into member loyalty, reducing churn rates and increasing overall satisfaction. Despite these initiatives, challenges persisted. Some members remained indifferent to the curated experiences, viewing them as superficial rather than substantive. The disconnect between the envisioned community and the reality of individual experiences became apparent. This region, once buzzing with excitement, began to show signs of disengagement. The original promise of a vibrant, collaborative workspace slowly waned. For many, the allure of shared office life diminished, leaving behind a hollow echo of what could have been. The vision turned into a struggle for relevance amid shifting workplace dynamics, illustrating the complexities inherent in fostering genuine community engagement. Emerging global co-working trends shifted expectations, highlighting an evolving landscape that WeWork struggled to navigate. The rise of remote work and flexible arrangements diminished the appeal of traditional office spaces. This transformation encouraged a reevaluation of what workers truly valued: autonomy, adaptability, and a hybrid work model that transcended physical boundaries. In various regions, new players entered the market, offering tailored solutions that resonated with the modern workforce. Innovations included modular spaces designed for specific needs, catering to freelancers, startups, and corporations alike. These competitors capitalized on the desire for community while maintaining a focus on individual productivity, creating an environment that felt personal yet collaborative. It became evident that the concept of co-working was evolving beyond shared desks and communal areas. Throughout this period, localized preferences emerged, emphasizing the importance of cultural nuances in establishing effective work environments. WeWork's failure to adapt to these shifting demands resulted in a disconnect from its core audience. While some organizations thrived by fostering authenticity and genuine relationships, the fading company found itself entrenched in a rigid model, unable to pivot effectively. This misalignment underscored a critical lesson in the importance of adaptability within a rapidly changing business landscape. The repercussions of this oversight are now etched into its legacy, a poignant reminder of the fleeting nature of innovation. The good within this legacy encompasses the initial vision that captivated many. A reimagining of workspaces, it promised collaboration and community, appealing to a generation seeking flexibility. This ambition sparked a wave of interest in shared office spaces, inspiring countless startups and established enterprises alike. It demonstrated the potential for innovation within the real estate sector, igniting discussions about work-life balance and modern employment structures. Conversely, the trajectory of failure is hard to overlook. Mismanagement and overexpansion led to instability, undermining the very foundation of its model. Investors became wary as financial losses mounted, revealing an unsustainable business plan masked by lofty valuations. The vision that once inspired enthusiasm devolved into an emblem of cautionary tales within the corporate landscape. Lessons learned are multifaceted. Sustainable growth models require careful oversight and adaptability to market demands. The importance of transparency cannot be overstated, particularly when engaging stakeholders. Cultivating a resilient corporate culture, one that embraces change and accountability, remains essential. This region of co-working spaces continues to evolve, influenced by WeWork's missteps. The narrative serves as a testament to the need for balance between ambition and pragmatism, encouraging future ventures to tread carefully on the path of innovation. The rise of freelancers and startups has undeniably shaped the landscape of co-working spaces. This demographic sought flexibility and community, drawn to environments that offered more than just physical office space. They craved collaboration, networking opportunities, and a departure from traditional office culture. This need for a versatile work environment led to the rapid expansion of shared office spaces, providing an appealing alternative for those navigating the precarious waters of entrepreneurship. The allure of affordability and accessibility drew many to these venues, where they could find like-minded individuals. This region became a haven for creativity and innovation, fostering a sense of belonging among those who often worked in isolation. As these spaces proliferated, they evolved, catering to the diverse needs of an ever-growing population of remote workers. The vibrant atmosphere attracted individuals who valued community and flexibility over rigid corporate structures. Yet this growth was not without challenges. Increasing competition among co-working providers led to saturation in certain markets, often resulting in unsustainable business models. Many spaces struggled to maintain occupancy rates, facing the reality of fluctuating demand. This shift emphasized the need for adaptability, as those managing these venues contended with the delicate balance of accommodating the evolving desires of freelancers and startups while ensuring long-term viability. The journey of co-working spaces reflects the intricacies of a transforming workforce. Resilience and adaptation became vital as the shared office space landscape evolved. This region witnessed a growing demand for flexible work arrangements, influenced by technological advancements and shifting employee preferences. Companies that once thrived faced challenges in maintaining occupancy rates as remote work gained traction. The once bustling communal areas, filled with vibrant interactions, began to echo with a haunting silence, as many chose the comfort of their homes over shared environments. In response, some entities attempted to pivot their business models. They introduced varied membership plans to attract a broader clientele, offering amenities that catered to individual needs. These changes reflected an understanding of market dynamics, yet the struggle for profitability remained. Competition intensified, with new entrants flooding the market, each seeking a slice of the co-working pie. The Fading Company embraced innovation by incorporating technology into their operations. Enhanced booking systems and virtual tour aimed to create a seamless experience for potential tenants. Despite these efforts, the overarching economic pressures often overshadowed such initiatives. The landscape became increasingly fragmented, with some providers thriving while others succumbed to financial strain. The once promising vision of shared office spaces transformed into a complex narrative of survival. The industry's fate hinged not only on adaptation, but also on the broader economic context that shaped this evolving work environment. Feedback loops play a crucial role in shaping business strategy, especially within dynamic sectors like shared office spaces. These mechanisms allow organizations to gather insights from their operations and clientele, facilitating real-time adaptations. In the case of the Fading Company, the absence of robust feedback systems hindered its ability to pivot effectively in response to shifting market demands. Without this vital communication channel, decision-makers relied on outdated assumptions, which led to misguided investments and misaligned offerings. The inadequacy of understanding customer needs became apparent as dissatisfaction grew among users. This dissatisfaction often manifested in empty office spaces, a stark contrast to the vibrant community it once promised. As occupancy rates dwindled, the feedback loop, instead of functioning as a guide, became a haunting reminder of missed opportunities. Internal evaluations revealed that the company struggled to process the critical information flowing in from various stakeholders. The disconnect between upper management and on-the-ground realities created a lapse in strategic foresight. Repeated misinterpretations of data meant that initiatives intended to revitalize the brand fell flat, leaving it lagging behind competitors who embraced a more iterative approach. In the end, the lack of effective feedback loops contributed significantly to the unraveling of aspirations, sealing the fate of this once promising venture. The absence of accountability mechanisms profoundly hindered decision-making processes. Leadership decisions often reflected a disregard for established governance principles. These dynamics cultivated an environment where ethical considerations were subordinated to aggressive growth strategies. Misrepresentations regarding financial health and occupancy rates surfaced, revealing a troubling pattern of behavior. Investors and employees alike found themselves grappling with the consequences of leadership that prioritized short-term gains over sustainable practices. In this context, corporate governance took on a critical role in the unfolding narrative. The structures designed to provide oversight were either insufficient or entirely absent, allowing for a culture of opacity to flourish. This lack of transparency compounded the challenges faced, as stakeholders were left in the dark regarding the company's true state. As trust eroded, the external repercussions became increasingly apparent. Legal scrutiny intensified, leading to investigations and lawsuits that further destabilized the already fragile organization. The downfall of this enterprise serves as a cautionary tale, illustrating the intricate interplay between governance, ethics, and the sustainability of corporate aspirations. The lessons gleaned from these events resonate throughout the landscape of modern business practices. Emerging from this landscape, a shift in perception offers potential pathways for shared workspaces. The concept of flexibility has gained traction, appealing to a diverse array of professionals and organizations. This evolving environment fosters a search for innovative solutions to address the needs of a changing workforce. Remote and hybrid work arrangements challenge traditional office structures, compelling companies to reconsider their spatial requirements. In this region, adaptable designs are gaining popularity, allowing for a range of configurations that can be adjusted as demands fluctuate. These flexible arrangements provide companies with the agility to respond to economic uncertainties. Strategies are forming around community building, emphasizing collaboration and networking among members, which could enhance the overall attraction of shared spaces. The integration of technology is another significant aspect of this transformation. Advanced tools streamline operations, allowing for seamless user experiences. Enhanced virtual services and networking platforms create a nexus for professionals seeking interaction beyond physical boundaries. Sustainability considerations are also influencing future developments. Eco-friendly practices resonate with a growing consciousness towards environmental impact. Incorporating green designs and energy-efficient systems aligns with the values of emerging generations. As the need for collaboration continues to evolve, shared workspaces may find renewed relevance, functioning as vital hubs for creativity and productivity in a transformed work culture. The landscape once dominated by WeWork now finds itself in a state of reflection and recalibration. The ambitious vision of shared office spaces, marred by financial turbulence and overextension, has given way to a more grounded understanding of co-working. This evolution, while marked by past failures, is not without promise. Adaptation is becoming key as smaller, nimble operators emerge, offering tailored solutions that cater to specific community needs. The remnants of WeWork serve as a reminder of the pitfalls associated with rapid expansion and unsustainable business models. Lessons learned from its decline prompt a reassessment of what co-working truly means. Flexibility and affordability are now paramount, guiding the design of new spaces that prioritize user experience over grandiose aspirations. These evolving workspaces may not resemble the original ideals of WeWork, yet they foster collaboration in a more organic and meaningful manner. Emerging operators focus on creating environments that support local businesses and cultivate a sense of belonging. Gradually, this approach can restore confidence in shared work environments, allowing for a resurgence of community-driven initiatives. The end of the WeWork dream signifies not a definitive closure, but rather a new chapter in the narrative of co-working, where adaptability and community integration could guide future endeavors towards lasting success.